The word calorie gets thrown around a lot these days. I feel like it's important for everybody to know the ins and outs of calories. In this video, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about the calorie and how you'll be able to break free from the constraints of strict dieting. Well, to keep this as simple as possible, a calorie is simply a unit of energy. If you'd like the official definition, a calorie is the amount of energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of water through 1 degree Celsius. To make that really simple, all you need to think about is imagine I turned on a gas stove. It would basically be how much energy is required to heat 1 kilogram of water from 10 degrees C to 11 degrees C. All of the food that you consume contains energy. This energy is metabolized or burned by the body to keep you alive and moving. Every single day, you will consume a certain amount of calories and you will use a certain amount of calories. The total amount of calories used throughout the day is defined as your total daily energy expenditure, or TDEE for short. This number is gathered from 4 different areas. The largest chunk of your calorie use actually comes from you performing your basic bodily functions, i.e. running your heart, your kidneys, your lungs, your liver. This is called your basal metabolic rate, or BMR for short. This can actually cover anywhere from 60 to 70% of the total calories you burn every day, without you having to even lift a finger. The next largest chunk actually comes from your activity that you do outside of exercise. This includes general walking around, going up and down stairs, sitting, standing, all of just the basic movements that we do day to day. This is called your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Put that simply, it's basically where you burn calories outside of exercise. This can actually take anywhere from 15 to 25% of your total usage throughout the day. Now, funnily enough, the third largest area we burn calories from is actually from the food that you eat. This is called the thermic effect of food and is basically the amount of energy required for you to digest, absorb, and then metabolize the food that you eat. This actually takes up anywhere from 10 to 15% of your daily use. You probably didn't see that coming. And finally, and actually the smallest area where we burn calories, is your exercise. Sad, isn't it? This is called your exercise activity thermogenesis, or EAT for short. This actually only contributes about 5 to 10% of your daily burn. Now we've covered where we burn calories, I'd now like to look at where we consume calories. Your calorie intake will consist of 4 basic macronutrients, or macros for short. First off, we have fats containing 9 calories per gram. This is foods such as butter, oil, and avocados. Carbohydrates coming in at 4 calories per gram. This includes foods such as bread, pasta, and rice. Protein coming in also at 4 calories per gram, including foods such as your meat, your dairy, your fish, and finally alcohol containing 7 calories per gram. Now later on I'll be making a video more detailed about macronutrients, so stay tuned for that. Now we have a basic understanding of what calories are, where we use them, and where we consume them, we can start to look at their importance on body fat levels. Your body runs like an extremely efficient engine. It utilizes energy very effectively and is designed to store any excess energy for use at a later date. Let's say on a given day, your total daily energy expenditure, or TDEE, i.e. the amount of calories you burn per day, was 2,000 calories. On this same day, your calorie intake was 2,200 calories. Those 200 excess calories or excess energy will not be wasted and will be stored as body fat for use at a later date. This is called a calorie surplus and is the singular reason why we gain body fat. A calorie surplus is also used in a fitness environment by individuals who are looking to increase their muscle mass. Flip the switch and let's say your calorie consumption for that day is 1,800 calories. Those 200 fewer calories, or energy, must be retrieved from stored energy levels, i.e. your body fat. This is the fat loss process and is called a calorie deficit and is the singular reason why we lose body fat. Finally, let's assume you've eaten 2,000 calories on that same day. As there is no excess, there will be no additional body fat created. And as there isn't a deficit in energy, there is no need from your body to take from its stored reserves. Hence, we will maintain body fat levels. This is commonly known as maintenance. So hopefully you can now see the importance of understanding your TDEE and your total calorie intake in regards to managing your body fat levels. We're now going to look at how you can apply all of this information to any body fat goals that you may have. As previously mentioned, creating a calorie deficit is the principle in which calories are lowered below your total daily energy expenditure in order to elicit fat loss. For this, it's helpful to know two things. Number one, how many calories are you burning on average? And number two, how many calories you are consuming. Let's start with how many you're burning. Now, there are a bunch of online calculators that will roughly estimate how many calories you're burning per day. This is based on factors like your gender, your age, your height, your weight, and your activity level. These calculators take this information, they plug it into a formula which spits out a number which will be roughly around the amount of calories you are burning every day. At the end of the day, you could use this number, but it is an estimation at best. Unfortunately, there aren't actually that many realistic ways of measuring how many calories you burn per day. You might think to look at your Apple Watch or your Fitbit, but research has proven time and time again that these devices are extremely inaccurate in measuring the amount of calories you're burning. I've seen figures as high as 40% variance. But all hope isn't lost, and instead of looking at the amount of calories we are burning, we want to be looking at the amount of calories we are intaking. To start with, it's important to note that even food labels are legally allowed to be inaccurate. We can assume there's around a 10 to 20% variance, but at the end of the day, that isn't a massive issue. So this is where tracking your food now becomes an amazing tool in order for you to understand your total intake. If you would like to be as accurate as possible, my personal recommendation is to track your food as accurately as you can throughout the week. Alongside this, take daily body weight measurements. Try to be consistent with the time of day that you take your body weight. I'd recommend as soon as you get up after you've used the toilet. At the end of each week, you'll have 7 entries for your calorie intake and 7 entries for your body weight measurement. You will then add those numbers together and divide by 7 in this case, or the amount of days that you tracked. This will give you an average result for your intake and your body weight. You then want to complete this process again over the next week, trying to keep your calories at around the same sort of level. If your weight is slowly dropping, it's likely that the number of calories you've eaten is adequate to create a calorie deficit, i.e. fat loss. If your weight is slowly increasing, it's very likely that your calorie intake is adequate now for a calorie surplus, i.e. fat gain, muscle gain. Pair this with a good sleep, a progressive strength training program, and ample recovery, and you'll be well on your way to achieving any physique goals that you might have, whether that be building a bunch of muscle or losing a bunch of body fat. And that wraps up this video. I wanted to keep this super simple as I have plans to make more in-depth videos in bulking, in cutting, in things like body recomposition, if you've heard of this before. So I'm hoping that you got something out of this video. If there is anything else that you would like me to expand on, please leave a comment below. If there's anything you'd like me to cover specifically, please drop me a message. Anything you want, I will get back to you as quick as I can. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.